You're listening to I Love This TV Show, The Golden Girls.
The Golden Girls, Season 2, Episode 21, Dorothy's Prized Pupil. Our original air date, March 14th, 1987. In this episode, Rose comes home and comments on how dressed up Sophia is. The president is in town, and she and her friends want to go meet his wife. But she is confused about who the president is actually married to. Blanche comes out in a new red dress, asking how she looks. Rose comments on how risque her outfit is. Blanche asks her about the earrings that she borrowed last week, and she says she returned them. Blanche tells her she didn't, that she's lost a lot of things, including the tickets to the Julio Iglesias concert, 2 sets of house keys, and her car at the airport. Blanche runs into the kitchen. Dorothy is tutoring Mario. Dorothy starts telling Blanche about a story Mario wrote for his English class and how good it is. Dorothy wants to read it, but she has to read the whole thing. Rose comes in the kitchen and offers Mario a snack, but the snack makes him run to the bus stop. Dorothy considers submitting his story to the district contest. It's then brought up that Blanche's earrings are missing. Rose couldn't find them, but she did find the Julio Iglesias tickets. Blanche rubs salt in the wound to Rose. Rose decides to be Blanche's personal servant for a week. It's how her family makes up for mistakes. She then tells a St. Olaf story. Blanche makes a run for her date. Dorothy decides to ask what happened to the leg of the character in her story, but she regrets it. Rose, Sophia, and Blanche are relaxing in lounge chairs on the lanai. Sophia complains that her butt is stuck. Blanche offers to help her up. Rose jumps up and says she'll do it. They both then drop Sophia back into the chair. The two are arguing. Dorothy rushes out on the lanai and tells them Mario's story won first place in the contest. Rose tells another story about how her grandmother died. Dorothy wants to plan the party for Mario. Dorothy agrees. Then Blanche tells Rose to plan the party. It's the day of the party. Dorothy comments about Blanche giving Rose all kinds of things to do. Dorothy checks the paper as there is an article. There's a picture with her in it, and it's not a good one. Rose thinks she hears Mario in the kitchen. The three yell surprise when the kitchen door opens, but it's Sophia, and they nearly scare her to death. Mario arrives and is surprised by the celebration. However, the doorbell rings. It's a little man in a suit with a badge from immigration. He tells Dorothy that Mario is there illegally and he has to come with him. Dorothy is shocked. That night, the three girls are in the kitchen. Blanche tells a story about a horse thief on their farm. He had him hauled to court so Blanche could testify. Her father did, that is. Dorothy gets annoyed by her story. The phone rings. It's for Dorothy. Mario has run away. She can only think of one place that he'd go. The girls volunteer to go with her. Dorothy finds Mario and tries to talk to him. Dorothy screams at the violence in the movie. She goes back to trying to talk sense into him. He says he'll go if she will go too. Blanche is not ready to leave yet. She's captivated by the movie. Dorothy and Blanche wait for Mario to arrive. They are both worried about Mario. The doorbell rings. It's a friend of Blanche's. He has Blanche's earrings. He also has a watch. Rose is not happy. She calls for Blanche. Rose is furious because she's been her personal servant all week, even though it's Blanche who lost the items. She heads into the kitchen after Rose to try and make up with her. The doorbell rings, and it's Mario. It's bad news. He has to go back. Dorothy wants to fight. He has to go tomorrow. She'll do what she can to get him back. Before he leaves, she gives him a hug. In the kitchen, Blanche is not getting back on Rose's good side. Dorothy joins them and tells them what happened. They give her a group hug. Rose tells her to get into bed and she'll bring her some snacks and move the TV. Dorothy exits and Rose tells Blanche to get cracking. Favorite quotes. Mario. Why do I have to learn algebra? Dorothy. Because I had to learn how to teach it. Rose. I don't think at your age you need to worry about wrinkles. Sophia. Who's talking about wrinkles? I can't get up. My butt is stuck to the chair. Sophia. Dorothy, if I'm lucky enough to live to be 100, make me a promise. Dorothy. I promise, Ma. No surprise party. Sophia. No, promise me we can get our own apartment. These two are making me crazy. Dorothy. I read a story once that said in America, you always feel like you're among friends. What do you think? Blanche. Right now, I have to go pour on some Southern charm, and if that doesn't work, I might have to eat a little Yankee crow. Well, Blanche and Rose have quite an interesting arrangement, falling out, and situation in this episode. Rose is being blamed for losing multiple things, including concert tickets, earrings, a watch, etc. And at a guild, she decides to be this Friedenfrugen? I don't know if I'm saying it right. I actually don't even know if Rose is saying it right. But apparently she's going to be personal assistant or slave to Blanche for an entire week to make up for all the things that she's losing. And Blanche really gives her some demeaning tasks to do. I mean, party planning is not bad, but like some of the other things are ugh. So, yeah, it's kind of a challenge, and she just really gives her a ton of things to do, way more than you give like an average person to do. And it turns out that Rose didn't actually lose the pieces of jewelry that were Blanche's. Blanche lost them at her boyfriend's house because he actually brought them back over. And Rose is not so happy about this. This leads to like a really big blow up between the two. And they eventually make up, clearly, but I mean, at the same time, too, I mean, she's basically using Rose like a slave for a whole week. And it was all for nothing because Blanche was the one who lost everything. On the plus side, though, Rose does find the missing Julio Iglesias tickets. But the other aspect, the other storyline that goes on in this episode is about the student that Dorothy is tutoring, Mario. And he winds up winning this contest. Because he won this contest, he wound up in a newspaper article along with Dorothy. And Dorothy is the one that actually submitted him to the contest. So I realized she probably also feels a whole lot of guilt about this too, which is why she wants to fight so hard about everything that's going on. But it turns out that Mario was illegally in the country and he's being removed from the country and sent back to the country he came from because he didn't follow the regular laws or however it all works. And it's just sad all around. He's a great student, he's a great kid, he's not causing anybody harm, but Dorothy is ultimately the one that has to live with the guilt because had she not submitted that essay to the contest where it then won first prize and got all this publicity, it would not likely have come to light about Mario's situation, and he probably would have still continued going on just as he was and still be here. You know, I mean, we don't really hear anything else about Mario in future episodes, so we don't know if Dorothy does do as she says and continues to work to bring him back, or how it all works. It's one of the few things that actually bugs me about this show is that a lot of things are left open-ended and there's never a conclusion. We don't get to find out how something resolves outside of what we learn in the episode. And there's many episodes that end like that. You know, just like with Blanche's grandson David. We meet him in that one episode. We never hear about him again through the course of the show. And it would have been nice to see how he turned out as well. But no, we don't get a lot of closure on a lot of stuff. The episodes are left a bit open-ended, and some closure on this specific topic and Mario's ultimate fate would have been really, really nice. The one thing I do find quite funny in this episode is when Dorothy is tutoring him in algebra, and he just hates algebra. And I agree, I hate algebra too. But he's like, why do I have to learn how to do algebra? And Dorothy replies back because she had to learn how to teach it. This is also one of those situations where it is the only episode where we ever hear about Dorothy teaching algebra. Because in every other episode in the show, she's a substitute English teacher. And so that one kind of throws me as well. I don't know if that was just done for the subject matter of the show. Sometimes I think things get tweaked just to fit within the storyline they want to do, but it doesn't really work in like the overall continuity of the show. Thanks for tuning in to the I Love This TV Show podcast. If you would like to make a donation in support of this podcast, you can through Cash App to Pasta26MC. That's pasta like the food, the number 2, the number 6, M as in monkey, C as in cat. If you would like to sponsor this podcast or advertise on it, please send an email to podcast@pastasworld.com. As always, you can go to pastasworld.com for more information.